Welcome to the specialty Perfect Buoyancy. The underwater world is a fascinating world. As a diver, you will get the unique opportunity to journey into the underwater world. Diving is one of the most memorable and rewarding experiences, and it exists in virtually every type of water, fresh and seawater. Diving requires a mastery of certain skills. Good buoyancy is one of those skills. The ocean floor is generally covered with silt, and without a mastery of buoyancy, you would stir up this sediment, impairing visibility. If you are diving over a coral reef, you want to avoid breaking the coral, and also, therefore, perfect buoyancy control is needed. Remember that the mastery of your buoyancy skills is generally the best environmental protection, but there is way more in it for you. Perfect buoyancy will teach you how to determine and adjust your weight system properly, so your trim and your swimming position will improve. This will lead to less water resistance and easier movement, which will benefit you in less air consumption. So, in essence, perfect buoyancy may lead to longer dive times and more relaxed diving experiences. Perfect buoyancy skills are the basis for several specialty areas. Without fulfilling this important prerequisite of mastering the skills, it is nearly impossible to enroll in deep or dry suit diving safely. Another specialty that you will want to look into is digital photography. Photography is the only way you can create permanent memories of your diving adventures. Once you've had some practice in perfect buoyancy and you're really adventurous, you might want to look into wreck diving or even advanced wreck diving, which teaches you limited wreck penetration within the daylight zone. But before we go deeper into the subject, we should answer the question, what is buoyancy? Buoyancy is the characteristic of a fluid to push up on an object immersed in it. Archimedes' principle states, an object floating or immersed in a liquid will be buoyed up by a force equal to the weight of the volume of the liquid displaced. There are three types of buoyancy that can describe an object immersed in a liquid: positive, negative, and neutral. Positive buoyancy. An object less dense than the liquid will float. For example, any object weighing less than 1.03 kilograms per liter or 64 pounds per cubic foot floats in salt water. Negative buoyancy. An object with greater density than the liquid will sink. For example, any object weighing more than 1.03 kilograms per liter or 64 pounds per cubic foot will sink. Neutral buoyancy. An object with density equal to the density of the liquid will neither sink nor float. For example, an object weighing 1.03 kilograms per liter or 64 pounds per cubic foot will remain neither sinking nor floating. Proper buoyancy control makes the difference between an enjoyable, effortless dive and an uncomfortable, potentially dangerous situation in open water. Many serious diving problems have been linked to inadequate buoyancy control. Buoyancy characteristics during a dive are determined by our body shape, but mainly by our equipment. Therefore, let us look at the different components of your total diving system and the characteristics which have an influence on buoyancy. Type and thickness of the exposure suit, amount of weights, buoyancy control device, tank volume and material. When you dive, you need thermal protection to keep you safe and comfortable. Just as you need appropriate clothing for different temperatures and activities on land, you also need appropriate protection for different diving situations. Maintaining body temperature in water is a serious factor while diving. While air is an excellent insulator for blocking heat transmission, water is an excellent conductor. Water absorbs body heat 25 times faster than air. The body's primary responsibility is to keep the brain and torso warm. If the body can no longer do that, a phenomenon called blood shunting occurs, slowing circulation to the outer extremities of the body. And while that may be fine on the surface, that is not good underwater. As depth and pressure increases, so does the nitrogen in your bloodstream. So, in order for you to have proper absorption and elimination of nitrogen, you need to remain warm throughout your dives. How do we solve this issue? It's very easy. The answer is thickness, fit, and seam integrity of your exposure suit. Thickness solves conduction. Fit and seam integrity solves convection. Then it's all about layering. That can be a rash guard, wetsuit in all thicknesses, lightweight fleece, or even a dry suit. It will largely depend on the type of diving you will be doing. Wetsuits are also buoyant and require you to wear just enough weight to offset this buoyancy. But let's not forget that as depth increases, so does pressure. And what will happen to those closed nitrogen cells is they will compress. This is why you wear a buoyancy compensator to make descending, swimming at the proper attitude or position at depth, ascending, and surface flotation easy. Remember that most of your body heat escapes through your head, feet, and hands. Hoods, gloves, and boots account for 30 to 40% of your thermal protection. Any additional piece of your exposure system needs to be considered as well when planning for the proper amount of weights due to increased positive buoyancy. Dry suits are used for cool to cold water conditions. Air instead of water is filled in a dry suit by an inflation valve, which is connected with your regulator's first stage by an inflator hose. Air is introduced into the suit for thermal protection and to prevent suit squeeze. On ascent, air in the suit must be allowed to escape through an exhaust valve. Diving in a dry suit is very different from diving in a wetsuit. If dry suit diving sounds like something you want to try, ask your SSI dive professional about the dry suit specialty program. To compensate for the positive buoyancy of the diver and the exposure suit, a diver needs weights to descend. The weight belt or weight pockets are designed to easily disengage in case of emergency. Weights, and only in the amount needed by a diver, are threaded and balanced onto a traditional right-hand release weight belt. If needed, the weight belt is easily released, held away from the body, and dropped. With weight-integrated buoyancy compensators, the weights are evenly balanced in weight pockets attached to the BC. If needed, a quick release is pulled and the weights fall. Diving cylinders are available in many sizes and are made from either steel or aluminum and have different ratings and capacities. Other considerations when choosing a cylinder are how they affect your buoyancy before and after the dive. Aluminum cylinders will tend to be positively buoyant at the end of the dive. So, you may want to add some more weight when diving an aluminum cylinder in comparison to steel. This will assist you with a slow ascent to the surface and the ability to make your safety stop. The BC provides you with surface flotation and is used to control your ascents and descents. BCs are available in many types, like adjustable and wing design, and they are equipped with various features. The most important safety feature for a BC is that it provides you with enough lift capacity when you are fully equipped. Just contact your SSI dive center to find the BC which fits your needs best. Maybe you will also have the chance to try different models. And then you should simply select the one which you feel best with. Preparation ensures that you will show up with everything you need for the day, and that your total diving system is ready for diving. Plan to arrive at the boat or dive site early, so you can assemble your equipment and get settled without having to rush before the boat leaves the dock. Stress may be triggered if you have difficulties with your equipment. If you have not been diving for a while, you may be a little rusty. This can be frustrating and embarrassing. An annual scuba skills update and occasional practice will boost your confidence in your abilities. Ask your SSI Dive Center about enrolling in a scuba skills update if you need to refresh your skills. If you want to learn more about your equipment, ask your SSI dive professional about the SSI Equipment Techniques program. No matter what type of weight system you choose, it should be adjusted to fit you properly. Your SSI Dive Center can help you choose a weight-integrated BC that best suits your diving style and needs, as well as teach you the proper weight placement. If you are using a weight belt, you should position the weight evenly on your hips. Hold lead weights in place with weight keepers or by twisting the belt through the weight. When trimming the belt to the appropriate length, leave enough space on the end so the belt is easy to release and can be adjusted over various suits. Also, when using a weight-integrated BC, make sure that the weight is equally balanced on each side. Many weight-integrated BCs are also equipped with counterweight pockets, which allows you to place part of the weights on your back near the cylinder. Simply check various configurations during different dives and find out which weight distribution provides the best balance and swimming position for you. Proper weighting and buoyancy control are two important skills for diving comfort, especially at depth. When you dive deep, the water pressure will greatly reduce the buoyancy in your exposure suit and BC as the air inside them compresses. This will make you negatively buoyant at depth. Both factors will influence the need to inflate the BC at depth in order to remain neutrally buoyant. Inflate the BC in small increments, letting the increased air take effect before you continue to inflate. So, why not just take some weight off your weight belt? The problem is, although you may be negative at depth, as you surface with lower cylinder pressure, you become positively buoyant, sometimes too buoyant to make a normal ascent or to stop for a safety stop. This is very dangerous when deep diving. The key is proper weighting at the surface before you make your dive and proper buoyancy adjustment during the dive. Now, let us have a look at how proper buoyancy check works in detail. You should be able to establish neutral buoyancy while floating at eye level by inhaling a full breath with an empty buoyancy compensator. Place mask on your face. Take a deep breath. Deflate buoyancy compensator completely. You should float at eye level or just a little bit below. If you are heavy, reduce the amount of weight. If you are buoyant, increase the amount of weight. You can easily control your descent by letting air out of your BC slowly. As you descend, the suit will compress, and you simply add small amounts of air to your BC to remain neutral throughout the dive. Neutral buoyancy also allows you to ascend effortlessly. You just have to remember, as pressure decreases, what happens? Volume increases. You will need to control your ascent to the surface by purging air from your BC. Remember, the greatest relative change takes place in the last 10 meters or 33 feet. Your dive computer will monitor your ascent rate and safety stop. Once you reach the surface, simply fill your BC for positive buoyancy. Let us have a closer look at the fin pivot, which will enable you to experience the effect of breathing relative to your buoyancy. Remove all air from the buoyancy compensator. Lay on the bottom face down and keep the fin tips on the ground. Put the buoyancy compensator inflator in your left hand. Gently press the inflate button to introduce a small amount of air into the buoyancy compensator. Do one or more complete breathing cycles to check buoyancy state. The body should move up after inhaling and move down after exhaling while keeping the fin tips on the ground. Repeat step 4 if needed to achieve neutral buoyancy. Neutral buoyancy is only achieved by maintaining a constant level after 3 or more breathing cycles. The next step is to hover motionless. Achieving mastery in that skill really means that you are on the right track to achieve perfect buoyancy control. Apart from practicing true buoyancy skills, you should also work on your fin propulsion techniques. Exercises like flutter kick, dolphin swim, backward swim, and helicopter turn will also improve your skill level. The surface interval or the end of a diving day are a great time to log your dives. Your logged dives will count towards your next level of diving and are a great way to remember your trip. Find your buddy and together log your dives. Record the important information from your computer: depth, time, water temperature, exposure suit, and weight. This will give you accurate information for planning your next dives. Perfect buoyancy needs practice and experience, but making the effort is definitely worth it. Being able to reach out for new areas of diving will give you the opportunity to experience new challenges and dive sites. And the secure knowledge that you will be able to protect the underwater world due to your new skill level will simply make you feel good about what you are doing. With this basic training, you will open up a whole new world of diving adventure. On behalf of SSI, your SSI Dive Center, and your SSI Dive Professional, we welcome you to a new and exciting world of scuba diving.